Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be a much shorter one, just so that I can not only do what I want to do, or not only so I can make this daily log, but so I could do other things outside of it. Because if I don't, and I carry on making logs that last 1 hour or longer, due to sleeping late, I just would do that and only that. Creating a 2-hour movie like the one I did yesterday, which is 2 hours and 22 minutes, or I think YouTube says it's 2 hours 21 minutes and 59 seconds. That took me 6 hours, and that was the efforts of one man directly. It was me doing the filming, it was me doing the editing, and it was me exporting it to the camera roll, attempting to do it more than once because there are some clips that I wanted to get out, but I couldn't due to insufficient storage when trying to export it again, and it was me uploading the video onto YouTube. However, even though I did all of these things, I'd actually argue that it wasn't only me making these videos, making that video and all of the other videos that I've made indirectly, because I'm using iPhone, I'm uploading it on YouTube, and I'm using ByteDance by using their CapCut, CapCut editing app. So in a sense, I believe that it's not just me making these videos, it is with the help of many other people, a few companies, but many other people to back it up. Anyway, I want to talk about socializing. This is very basically, this is a sequel to yesterday. A sequel to yesterday's video where I was talking about what I thought was overcoming lust, but what I now think is the desperate need to socialize with women, especially. Hence the name of this, the title of this video, ladies, because I'm looking to socialize with a lot more women around about my age and a lot older, just like how I socialize with guys around my age or a lot older. There's this guy who's 3 times my age and he's still training and he's still going out of his way to keep himself fit in the gym, so props to him. And I bring him up just as an example to say that I really am talking to guys that are a lot older than me. I could learn a lot from those sorts of people, just like how I could learn a lot from a lady that's 3 times my age, and of course younger than that. I could learn from anyone really. But yeah, actually that saying that actually leads, the pun not intended, but it is going to lead me to talking about socializing with women. So when I went to the gym, this is after I've gone, by the way, when I went, I spoke to 3 ladies, and they were really all right. One of them was an older lady, I'd say maybe less than twice my age, and she was doing one of those stretches where you kick your legs back, and because I want to train my lower body, I was thinking I'll talk to her, so I did. I didn't think about it, I just did it honestly, because I knew deep down, because I thought of it consciously, subconsciously, I knew that I wanted to socialize with women. My bigger picture, long-term aim is to have a balance between how much I socialize with men and how much I socialize with women, so that I can live in a socially healthy way. That's my reasoning, because it seems that without socializing with many men, I'd become socially isolated and basically not speak to anyone at all, basically. Or if like how I hadn't for the past it's been a long time since I've really gone out of my way to make friends. It's been a while, but since I haven't been speaking to ladies anywhere near as much as I have been guys, for no reason in particular, I just do things that I get that socializing with ladies in a different way. Watching gym haul videos that are borderline sexually explicit, implicit, with all the bum poses, the tight clothing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them, and since I said last night when I was thinking about it, since I said I need to talk to more women, that was it. I felt peace. And that could have been because I figured out why I was doing it. I figured out the root of why I was doing that. Why I was looking at all of these ladies online in a lustful way. And since I've been speaking to ladies today, even just today, like short term, it's had immediate positive benefits. I'm not looking at ladies in that lustful way in the gym, like how I did yesterday. I give this look, which I talk about later on in the video. I explain why I did that whilst I was just relaxing before doing my stretches. And I gave that look because I knew, because there was a lady right in front of me who was on the treadmill, and she was literally just existing. She was literally just walking, but I sensed I was trying to not look at her ass. I sensed I was trying not to, and hence I gave the look as a note to document that, so that I wouldn't talk as much during the treadmill walk, so that I wouldn't have to do as much editing like how I did 2 days ago when I would talk. So keeping the sound when I would talk and not keeping the sound when it was just radio for copyright. But you know what? It's just a lot easier to do if I just leave all of the sound in. Like the films are they are long. The things are long. So I might go out my way to edit those treadmill clips when I'm not talking every now and then. Like really do it, like how I did two days ago. But just out of convenience, I probably won't be doing that as much anymore. But yeah, as I was saying, ever since I started speaking to the ladies today a lot more, I stopped wanting to seemingly impulsively look at ladies in a lustful way by looking at their bum. Like, it was immediate. That was someone's bike just braking there, by the way. Not breaking down as in as in slowing down, sorry. Wait, that's not anything to apologize for. Anyway, yeah, I stopped. Basically immediately. There was one lady who was jogging, who I was thinking of speaking to, but eventually I didn't. I tried to not look at her for some reason. I think that could have been because I was trying to not seem like I was just staring at her. I certainly might have, without realizing it, but it's not that I want to. It's just that it's coming from if I did, it's coming from an innocent place. I just want to talk to more ladies. That's it. Not if I did stare, I wasn't trying to be predatory. Actually, that leads me to my next point. As I was speaking to this lady who I said who looked about double my age, I admitted to her that I looked at a lady's bum yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, I do that too." I did not. I wasn't expecting a response at all, but upon reflection, yeah. I don't think I could have ever guessed that she'd say that. At least it's not just me, but yeah, as she was saying, if a woman were to say that to a woman, like, oh yeah, you've got a nice bum, then they'd be, oh thanks. But if it was a man doing that to a woman, she was trying to say that, yeah, the ladies would probably think that's strange. I said predatory, and she agreed, yeah, because that's what I genuinely think. A lady might see that as predatory because on average, we all know, and I think we can all agree on the fact that men, I don't want random people hearing me. It kind of was just automatic for me to look left and right before saying that. Men are the physically strongest sex on average. So probably as a defense mechanism, ladies would be more cautious if a man was to say that to them rather than a woman saying that to them, because they know, like, that men on average are more physically built, taller on average, maybe. So they might think that they have the power to, like, take advantage of them and use them. Yeah. But again, I wouldn't have thought that she would say that. And she admitted, yeah, like, some of them, it's almost like they've got nothing on. So, yeah. Like the lady whose bum I looked at yesterday, probably because I needed to speak to more ladies, I think that's why I did it. Or at least the main reason as to why I did it, because after I started speaking to more ladies, I immediately stopped looking at women in that way. Yeah, I mean, like, white or maybe cream, extremely tight shorts. Like when she bent down one time, it was almost like you could almost see her bum from outside of the yoga pants, and also her private parts too. Rather unfortunately, certainly not a bum hole, but like you could not see it, but yeah, it just wasn't. It was not pleasant. It really wasn't. But I think now that I'm going out my way to speak to more ladies, it's not a problem. Not a problem. So I'm going to keep on going for that balance. And from now on, for the rest of my life, I'll say solitude is fine. Sometimes not speaking to many people is okay. But it's got to be done in much shorter periods than I've done it now. Or otherwise, I will just do what I've done yesterday. And almost did today. Actually, no, I did. On the as I was just going about my business, I saw it had no boundaries. The lady was pushing one of her kids in a pram, and then the other two of her children were walking beside her, and I still stared. It, like, the clothing was tight and her ass was big. It's not because I don't want to, as I lick my lips. Not as I'm thinking about it. It's just because my lips are dry. It's not because I want to do it. It's because I lacked social connection with women. So I try and get it elsewhere. I try and get it in other ways. because I wasn't speaking to them, I wasn't speaking to women as much as I'm going out my way to do now. Lust just took over. I allowed lustful actions to just take over. I did them. I acted in a lustful way. They didn't just take over. That didn't just happen. It wasn't like those lustful actions did what they did to me. No, it was me doing that to myself. A self-inflicted, what I've called a self-inflicted mental attack in the form of lust. Those actions, without checking myself, like yesterday, and staring at a lady's bum for at least a few seconds, maybe like 5, that comes with a price I don't want to pay. A deep sadness and anger. That's what that comes with. I'm not against dating. I'm not against dating. I'm not against speaking to ladies in a platonic way and in a romantic way. I'm not against that. I'm not against sexual encounters with women, but I am against not exercising self-control. That I am against, and I believe that by looking at that lady's bum yesterday, I believe that I decided to not exercise self-control and I would say that I allowed myself to give in to impulsive thoughts. I broke myself, basically, and I allowed myself to break. I broke myself with those drill videos talking about, oh yeah, I'm fucking this hoe, I'm fucking that hoe, not protecting myself from the radio talking about, yeah, I'm sucking dick, and he eats my pussy and that. Not protecting myself from these things has been a part of why, and also not speaking to ladies, as I said. So now the aim is to carry on speaking to ladies like how I did today, and carry on developing platonic relationships with these ladies and with the guys too. But I need a balance. Developing platonic relationships with men isn't something that I wouldn't really think of, because I've been so used to it ever since I was a kid. Potentially through primary school and middle school, I was talking to both guys and girls, and many girls fancied me during primary school, especially, and apparently during nursery as well. Like potentially before I was 4, according to my parents. Like apparently I had a girlfriend before I was 4. I don't know how that works, but okay. But yeah, during those times there was a balance. I was speaking to both guys and girls, and then the balance tipped a lot more to speaking to men during A-levels, especially, even though I was speaking to ladies and I was in a friendship circle that consisted of ladies alone. But I'd say, even though that was the case, the conversations that I remember were with the men, if there were any. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. The mind's quiet now. I think I've figured it out. I certainly will go out my way to develop friendships with people. Without men, it's from personal experience. Without speaking to men, I'd just be socially isolated. So that's my foundation. Speaking to men, socially speaking, is my foundation. Without speaking to men from personal experience back when I was in uni, I'll just be socially isolated. Or without speaking to many men and having male friends, I'll be socially isolated. I'd be socially isolating myself from basically everyone. So those are my foundational blocks, socially speaking. But then after that, building on that is then speaking to the ladies. Because without the ladies, I can't live in a socially healthy way. I can't do it unless I have many periods where I'm speaking to my male friends and my female friends in the future when as I'm making them now, and then I have shorter periods of solitude. If I do that, then that's balance. That's cool. And I'll still have my foundations. I still will be socially healthy, even though I might not be talking to my male and female friends every now and then, due to wanting to go into a period of solitude for like 4 to 6 months. JD said he had to go in a period of solitude during his 2.5-year transformation video. JD from a YouTube channel called Growth Through Calisthenics. And I might have to do the same every now and then, especially if I want to work on myself in a similar way as to how I have all the way up to now through this channel. Those periods of my life might be needed. I might need them again. It's not healthy to not have a break from a certain way of life. There isn't enough time to recover if I were to always be speaking to people. And I've said to myself, as I've been just sat on a chair here, I've said to myself, when would socializing when would it be too much? I'd say it would be too much when I have to sacrifice making these videos in the way I'd like and having these videos as long as I'd like them, plus doing things outside of my life, doing things in my life outside of that, like learning about personal training stuff, which is what the headphones are for. Listen to some personal training stuff. Very, very specific for me. That is very specific for me and for my course. So it's not just random, it's purposeful. But yeah, as I was saying, the socializing will get too much when I sense I have to sacrifice how I make these videos and like learning about personal training and just all of the other things that I want to do. At the expense of socializing. I want to make friends. I want to make male and female friends. Because as I've said, I seem to be incapable of living in a socially healthy way without friends. Or not necessarily without friends, but without speaking to both ladies and gentlemen in a friendly way. I can't. We're social beings. We're meant to speak to each other. So if I want to speak to a lady, I will. But I know that I'll be going with the intentions of wanting to live in a socially healthy way, not to try and date her or not to try and be predatory. I absolutely would like to be friends with both men and women, but I have to be careful with that, because if I go out my way to do that, I might not actually take into account that not all of them, but some of these same men and women that I'd be speaking to actually aren't the most pleasant of characters. I want to make friends. I want to make friends now, and I don't think there's a problem with that. I want to have many people that I can enjoy time with and sometimes do nothing with. Especially if I'm dating a lady outside of the gym. I've made it very clear to myself, I'm I'm not going to flirt with any of these ladies because I don't want to lead them on, because I wouldn't want to be led on. That would be a lot. That'd probably be a lot I'd have to work through behind the scenes. Oh shit. Fuck. What was I saying? Oh, pardon. Excuse my language. I'm gonna have to watch that back. 25-minute, 35-second clip, and I've forgotten. I'm not gonna keep it rolling. I want to actually finish off what I was gonna say there. But I would work through it, as I was saying. I was saying that there'd probably have to be a lot I'd have to work through behind the scenes. That being led on, as in being led on, I won't do that to a lady. JD from Go Through Calisthenics was saying that he was on that sort of time, and respect for him for his honesty, and respect for him for growing from that. Those sorts of, I'd actually say, even though females might dislike that, I'd actually argue that doing that isn't acceptable, but might come from a more innocent place than ladies might think. And I'll explain why by using JD's words. JD was saying that he was doing that because he had internal problems and things that he had to work through. But ladies might not be willing to look at that because their only focus might be on the fact that they've got played, rather than actually going out of their way to further understand why they think that he played her, or they played her, like they being all the men that she might have dated in her life, in a non-judgmental way, to further understand, oh, okay, this person isn't necessarily like how they might say, an absolute piece of shit, or like how JD said they say fuck boy. I suppose that's like the female equivalent of a guy calling a girl bitch. Yeah, it probably would get the same reaction. A fuck boy dating many ladies in the form of cheating, and not an openly polygamous relationship or something like that. I don't know. Apologies, I am feeling quite thirsty right now. But speaking of, actually, I got some things from Holland and Barrett. I got a small, I misplaced my water bottle today, so I got this one. This one was the one that I had, exactly the same, which was £8. And then you don't value what you have until you have it. That's what I was thinking. Because look, there's no hook here, unlike here, right? So I can't use my finger to grab it and carry it around. Don't value what you have until it's gone. That was the thought that came to mind. And for some reason, thinking about my parents actually came to mind there. I think that could be because that's the typical way of the typical context you would think of that phrase in. Maybe not. Yeah. But I'm certainly going out my way to speak to my parents in a civil way, or if not a friendly way, from time to time. So I'd say I am cherishing them at least somewhat, even though I wouldn't go out of my way to. I have been, without realizing it. I'm not hate ridden. Don't hate my parents anymore. I don't call women bitches. And because I at least don't have as many misogynistic views, I think that's what's going to really help me actually have healthy relationships with women. Because that's so some guys might be so comfortable calling ladies bitches and that, but it's that's not pleasant. You wouldn't like it if they called you puppets. You wouldn't. It's just not a healthy way to live life either. These same people who create life are the same people that you call dogs. These same people that these same people that give birth are the same ones that you're calling dogs. Yeah, men do create life as well. Without the sperm, life wouldn't be created. So it's not like they're less valuable, as some women might say, because they are feeling angry because of how much pain that they might have inside them with their interactions that they'd have with men. Because some men, very unfortunately, do interact with not only adult ladies but younger ladies in a predatory way as well. So just from that alone, it's more than understandable as to why ladies would be very much on guard when men are speaking to them or when they're speaking to men, and why things like a lady saying to a lady, you've got a really big bum, is more acceptable than a man saying to a lady, wow, you've got a big bum, who are on the premise that the lady saying it to the lady and the man saying it to the lady were strangers, for example. Yeah, I'm not sure if that made sense and if that was the most coherent, but no pun intended. I am feeling quite thirsty, so bear with me. I'd say I've solved because I'm now going out my way to speak to ladies with a balance, speaking to both men and speaking to ladies, and going out my way to make friends from this day onwards, like trustworthy long-term friends this day onwards, and having a balance between the amount of male friends I have and the amount of female friends I have. I've solved a lot of my social problems because I was going out of my way to watch gym haul videos, as I've been saying. I've been repeating these same things over and over again. But this is important to me. This is how I work through things. Plus, I am feeling dehydrated. So that does mean I might repeat some things from time to time, as I might forget what I've said. Almost like how I've done now. The next thing I'd say that I would need to master is completely undoing any final scraps of social anxiety that I created, like thinking about awkward handshakes, like going down the stairs, seeing a family relative, going to dap him up but falling down the stairs on the way there. I visualized that over and over and over and over again, even though that didn't actually happen in real life. I just made that up in my mind. Speaking of, I've actually just seen someone who I may or may not mind making friends with. He seems all right. Like he knows a lot about fitness, but he was joking about dark thoughts. He was saying dark thoughts in a joking way, just like how I did when I was younger, when I was a teenager. This is actually one of the guys that I spoke to who can do a lot calisthenics wise that I don't have the strength for yet. But soon. Oh yeah, those chirps remind me. In order to further counter mental attacks like lustful thoughts, lustful actions, like staring at ladies' bums. Now, I didn't even think ladies would do that, but okay, yeah, fair enough. It's time to allow myself to rest, lie down in nature, rather than sitting down on a chair. Lie down on the grass. I'm gonna put my jacket on the floor and then just lie down. But other than that, I think I'm done. I've worked through enough today. I'm gonna go out my way to make friends with boundaries, speaking to people, vet out their characters first, then interact with them in different environments, and just have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun talking to people like as I'm meant to, as a human being, as a social creature. That's what many people on social self-improvement would say, I think. But that's how we function. We can't live a healthy life without, well, as far as I'm concerned, at least I can't live a healthy life without talking to men and women in a friendly way, at least on a regular basis. Even if I have my months of like 4 to 6 months of solitude, maybe like every few years, that's fine. But still talking to my male and female friends every now and then, that's fine. But just basically not speaking to ladies at all, basically not speaking to men at all, that can't run anymore. Especially for prolonged periods of time. That just can't run, period. Because I know where I ended up, a dark place. Eating crap. Takeaway basically all the time. I like the person that was serving me the food. He had screwed on head on his shoulders. But because I was going there to learn from him, I ate like crap as well. I ate very unhealthily. I felt awful, man. And that just further led to, that could have been to cover up for the social isolation that I was experiencing. One day I'll be riding a motorbike, yeah, come on. I could have been doing that as an escape from all the lack of social interaction I was having. But back then, the pandemic was well in its peak, well in its prime. I'd say that's been and gone now. Maybe not the virus. Some people think that it's not real, some people think it is, but on the premise it is. Just like how the flu's never gone away, coronavirus will never go away. And that's fine, we can just adapt. Just like how there's a well-tested vaccine for the flu, you can get eventually a well-tested vaccine for coronavirus. Very unfortunately, it came out so early. On the internet, if you ask how long does it take to make a vaccine, it says 5 years, but then they say, but then they were bringing it out in less than a year. So that was sketchy, but against my will, I took it because I was living with my parents, and my dad especially would basically, really pressuring me to do it, and I gave in to the pressure. I did it. I'm not anti-vaccine personally, but I believe that skepticism is certainly healthy, to question what's around you. If certain things don't add up, it absolutely is more than healthy to question it, especially if things are new. You don't know what the vaccine could do long term, because it hasn't been like 10 to 20 years, whereas with the flu, you know what's up because it's been over 100 years since that pandemic. Probably for the rest of till the dawn of time, or within our lifespans at least, who are watching this around this time, we are probably always going to remember that word because of coronavirus. Always. We probably always are. We'll always have that once in a lifetime experience of going through it. That's an experience that many generations won't have, like many. And when I say that, I mean a pandemic in general, not this specific one. After our generations run out, after like Gen Z and maybe the next Generation Alpha, I think they're called. Like, that's it. No one will have first-hand experiences of this virus. So people won't know about what it was like through this specific pandemic, but not many people will know what it's like to go through a pandemic at all. People in the future generations, probably like the people born in the 2050s, would be getting the second-hand effects or getting second-hand experiences of that, because it would have already been and done. By that time, yeah. And by that, I don't mean that it would have gone away, but I mean, on the premise it's real. I mean, just like how we have the flu jab and we just get that maybe like once every year, it'd probably be the same. People would have to do that probably by then, the same way like how we would have to take a flu jab, tetanus jab when we were young, like once a year or so. It took such a little time to create that vaccine, seemingly, but yet they're trying to get out so quickly and so consistently. They wouldn't even get the flu jab. We get the flu jab maybe like once a year as kids, but no, they're trying to push that out, pump us like cows, once every like couple of months or so. It just seemed sketchy, especially with the fact that on the internet I found that it takes like 5 years to make a vaccine. Yeah. On the premise it's not real, and I keep on saying that to play the fence. Yeah, it did seem weird that, okay, these vaccines were made less than a year, but it usually takes, according to the internet, it takes like 5 years to make one. Yeah, that just seems sketchy, but against my will I took it, and now who knows, I might grow a third arm. Nah, we can only hope. We should be alright. Some people would say that it's there to kill the old people off. That's kind of harsh. That is kind of harsh, but okay. Imagine, what are the odds? What are the odds that NHS would dish out vaccines to kill people? What are the odds? Anyway, I'm done. Just we finito. I need a drink. I'm now gonna let the session itself play, and cheers to making friends, both male and female. Oh yeah, that's it. Let's let the session play now. I say let's. I'm going to let the session play now. Here goes. Left foot is really tightly. Not quite where my shin is, but to the right of my shin. Probably show when I'm stretching. I don't think I'm going to be able to have a solid session at all, honestly. But then again, I have been training long for how many days now? Anyway, move. Alright, let's go. 4.5 kilometers an hour is too fast. 4 will do. No need to injure myself. emergency stop first, just to make it finish quicker. Yeah, this is going to be a short one. I'm just here sat by the leg curl machine while I was doing my hamstrings. I don't think today's the day, man, seriously. I really don't. Because of my left leg hurting me. I'm not gonna just allow myself to rest here for a couple of minutes, honestly. I think that's the best option for me right now, because overtraining does exist, that is a thing, and if I do that, I'm just increasing the likelihood that I get injured, so I'm just gonna allow myself to talk instead. Oh, by the way, I'm just listening to some personal training stuff. That's why I've got the earphones on. I'm not just listening to music or anything. No, this is purposeful. Just so that it's easy for me to hear myself. I'm gonna take one earphone off the. At the moment, even if I had both earphones on, I'd be able to hear what's going on, but I would also be able to hear the radio. Okay, so let's get into this. I was just walking on the treadmill slowly, 4 kilometers an hour rather than 4.5, because I didn't want to go too fast and really aggravate that part of my leg. It's here, right here. Yeah, so I just walked slow. By the way, I was talking about overcoming mental attacks and lust. I was walking on the treadmill and I gave this look. That look was just to make a note of the fact that I was really trying to not look at a lady's bum. The clothing's tight. And I say I did. But at least I've made some progress, as I knew, as I was aware what was going on. It's like, okay, you know what? Not only is my sexy drive going to naturally increase as I age, but I'm in the gym. That's just going to further increase it. That's number 2. Number 3, I don't think I'm lusting over ladies. I think that I'm just really wanting to have a connection with ladies and speak to ladies in a similar way to how I speak to men. I've been saying in my mind that men, or talking to men, is like my building blocks socially. That's what gives me my foundations to be at least not socially isolated. But now I need to also speak to ladies so that my social health is healthy. So I'm in a healthy state socially. I can't do it without ladies. And I was thinking of speaking to a lady to the left of me, but I just didn't for some reason. Because I was just wanting to start a conversation so that I can become more socially healthy. I think over time I will do that. Speak to maybe ladies who are going through a class, or ladies who are just exercising. Really is as simple as that, with absolutely zero intention to want to date them or to try and pull them. Zero intention of trying to pull ladies, but just to have a conversation, just like how, in a similar way to how I'd have a conversation with guys. Again, so that I can live in a socially healthy way. Can't do that without women. Can't. But otherwise, I'll just go and watch gym haul videos, especially with the testosterone being this high. The testosterone needs diluting. It does. It needs diluting. Or otherwise, I'll just keep on looking at women as my sex drive increases. I'll just keep on looking at women in a lustful way, unfortunately. So it's either I don't speak to women and I keep on looking at them or I keep on trying to not look at them in a lustful way, or I speak to women and I live in a socially healthy way. And I then stop watching those, what I'd see as sexually implicit gym haul videos, grow your glutes videos, which would then be the foundations to do even more than that, and eventually watch porn or something like how I did September time. I don't actually remember. I purposefully tried to not remember so that I wouldn't think about days or streets. I think that's gonna be a part of what sets me free, because I'm not thinking, okay, I've been doing it for this. I try and calculate before I watch porn in September. I try and calculate, oh, okay, last time I watched it before that point was the 26th of May 2020. So I stopped watching. I hadn't been on a porn website since X 2 years, X months, and Y days. I don't want that. Yeah, it's about time. And as I've said, it's about time I talk to ladies. And when I was thinking that at home, as I was watching a video from someone that does like gym videos, productivity videos, or whatever, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I need to speak to women. And when I thought that, I didn't feel relief. I felt peace, because I potentially because I accepted the truth. I finally accepted the truth. I stopped trying to go against it. I accepted it. Yeah.
good. Keep you busy.
Yeah.
Don't work too hard.
Raking some leaves.
Hey?
Going to rake leaves.
Have you got any herbs?
I'm going to rake leaves.
No, but have you got any herbs in your garden?
Yeah, I've got rosemary, I mean.
You got some basil?
That's easy to grow basil.
I don't have that. Do you mind getting me some?
No, I think so.
Yeah?
No, when
Because I
you...
use basil a lot with pasta.
Okay,
you
so when you
grow
go to
these?
Tesco's, you can buy a plant of basil and have it on your windowsill. Or in a little... it's a little bit cold to have it outside at this time of year.
Yeah.
But you can have an indoor, you can have a plant indoors.
Yeah? Alright, yeah, I'll try that.
That's alright.
You know in Tesco's they sell them like the little plants.
Oh, they sell basil?
Yeah,
Oh, decent. I need to get me some.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get you one for next time.
Yes, please. Thank you.
What's it like growing your own vegetables? Or do you not do that really?
Sorry?
Do you grow your own like vegetables?
Some
Like,
things I do, but some things it's not worth growing because you get everything at one time and maybe things you want are not, you know, you can just get them. I usually use the dry ones, but you can get the basil plant right on the windowsill.
oh, okay.
I think a marijuana, if you don't really mind, I get that grow it on your window. I
Seriously?
don't.
Yeah.
But,
When I heard that, I immediately thought a lot.
oh no, I don't have a
Yeah.
I do have a big garden though.
Green finger, on you.
Not really. Huh? No. No, I had 5 dogs. So when I bought my house, I had to have a house with a big
You've
garden.
got 5 dogs.
I haven't anymore. I got older than me. So I only got 2 now. Oh, sweating now.
Made you train hard, didn't it?
Yeah, you almost did.
Do you have to pay for those sessions or no?
Not if you remember.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was thinking it just looked really interesting. Like you guys are training quite a bit. Hey, who knows? I might try that. How do you find it? Oh, I see a phone lying around.
No, if you remember, you can do any of the classes for free. Alright,
Yeah.
you probably have to pay for that.
Yeah, that's
Once
what.
you've learned your personal training thing, you can come and do it yourself.
I'm actually speaking of. I'm actually on the way to getting personal training qualification.
Yeah.
So you've got the level 2 gym instructor one.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of getting that right
Yeah,
now.
talk to him, he's good.
Oh yeah, I mean he knows.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll get my level 3.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Are
I
you not a member then?
recently I've joined.
So you can do any of the classes you want to do. There's loads and loads of classes like there's boxing,
Yeah.
science, dance classes, and then go to dance classes for your weight.
Oh no, I don't mind learning. I don't mind. I don't mind. Yeah.
Zumba, there's all sorts of classes. Every day, there's loads of ones every day.
Yeah. Which you can see on the app, can't you?
Yeah.
Fun, yeah. Thank you.
Ah, see you later.
Yeah. in order for this video to not end abruptly, I'm going to end this. I'm going to use this final clip to say cheers. Cheers to making friends that I actually want to have in my life, people that I actually want to have deep connections with in my life, that are trust that live in a trustworthy way, that live in a genuine way, who don't have malicious intent, who want to grow and see others around them grow. Cheers to interacting with both the ladies and the gentlemen. Cheers to having male and female friends, trustworthy friends, genuine friends, friends who aspire to make something big of themselves, friends who aren't bummy, friends who take care of themselves. Cheers to understanding myself more. Cheers to figuring out myself more, especially socially, seeing as this video has basically been about that. And I've been thinking, as I was speaking to one of the guys that I've met recently, after speaking to him, thought maybe a lot of the social anxiety, like me working through awkward handshakes video that I made, that could have just been due to lack of social interaction. Now that I think about it, all of that social anxiety that I claim to have, that could have genuinely been to an extreme lack of social interaction. Like, it's not even that big a deal. If we were to make a mistake, like I go for a spud and then someone tries to handshake or dap me up like that, so what? You can laugh about it and move on. Trying to protect yourself from awkwardness, trying to protect myself from awkwardness actually just did the opposite from protecting myself. I just gave myself a whole load of stress by doing that. And maybe that's maybe the lack of social interactions that I had was a part of why I had so much fear in me related to the skate parks situation that I spoke about, Plank Day 81, Plank Day 90, the 1 year life transformation video when I addressed how my mental health has changed. It could have genuinely been due to lack of social interaction in general, and also particularly with people who I want to speak to, like the people that I'm starting to get to know now. They seem all right. One of them saying, "Oh yeah, it's just you want to drink quite a bit." I don't value drinking. I don't value drinking alcohol, but some people, like friends of mine, some people are going to do that anyway. That's just life. But I can go about, here goes. I can go about the conversations and say, no, I can go about interacting with these sorts of people and say, do the positives far outweigh the benefits? Just like how I might think they have flaws, like not necessarily a flaw. Drinking, it's just unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. I have extremely unhealthy habits as well from time to time. We all might. Not, that's life. But as long as, when I vet out people's character, as long as I think the positives far outweigh the negatives, and there aren't any extreme like crimson red flags, then I'll be able to say, okay, this person, not bat a blind eye to it, but accept it and say, okay, this person does drink, but I mean, it's not that often, and he or she obviously take care of themselves by doing X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Yeah. So cheers to making more friends, and cheers to living in a more healthy way socially, and therefore potentially in just my life in general, maybe with my having even healthier interaction with my parents too, because I'd just be more socially healthy. Yeah, anyway, That's a thought that I had as I came home, immediately after coming home. It could happen. It's just a prediction with not much deep thought behind it. But anyway, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to export it now, get some food, and then that's me done and signing out. Cheers, man. Peace. It's 13 past 4 as I make this last clip. Just got a little bit pieces here and there to do, just to check everything's all right. Then export it a lot earlier. I'll get it onto YouTube a lot earlier than like 9, half 9 in the evening. So we're progressing, and that means I'm also going to be able to do everything outside of this on time as well, more and more eventually. Yeah, so this is it. This is me signing out, and let's see what I get up to tomorrow, man. Peace. Cheers to becoming healthier in every way possible.